Greetings all and blessings upon you. My name is Bailey and welcome to another episode of Bailey's Buddhism. This week I would like to take the opportunity to talk about the good and the bad after a couple of recent events in my life really made me think. To clarify, I classify these events as good and bad very loosely. The good event was actually a tragedy, but the kindness of people stood out to me. I'll talk about this more in a second. And the bad event was somebody in my life losing their way, and losing both their faith and their sight of the path and its values. However, in the end it was actually a good event for me personally, because it forced me to learn and grow and realize a few things, but I'll get to that later in the video. For now, let's talk about the good event. On a regular commute of mine last Friday, I bore witness to a fire. It wasn't a bonfire or a planned burn. It was an actual accidental fire. In this case, a hay storage shed was on fire, along with a truck and possibly an old car as well. The fire had fully engulfed the shed, and the wind was blowing the flames towards the house where the owners of the hay shed lived. The CFA arrived to deal with the fire, but even still, and this is what really stood out to me, all of the neighbours arrived in short time. Some were helping the family to evacuate their house in case the fire spread, while others helped to clear flammable grass and objects from around the fire to either slow or stop the spread. Regardless, this is the sort of kindness that we need in the world, and the sort of kindness that I talked about last week when I read and discussed the loving kindness sermon. So, in the face of a tragedy, the kindness of people shone through. On a side note, I'd like to ask anyone who watches this video to spare a thought for these people, or even to say a quick prayer. I recited the Gatha for the whole rest of my commute, but would like to say it one last time now in the hopes you send kind thoughts along with it. May all beings be safe, may all beings be healthy, may all beings be peaceful. Thank you. Moving on now to the bad part of my week and what it made me realise. To start with, before I go too far into this discussion, I want to explain my perspective on people who do dishonourable things such as lying or letting anger overtake them. It is my belief that these are not bad people. They have just simply lost sight of their faith, their path in life, and perhaps some of the values associated with this. But they are not bad people, just confused. It is my opinion that those who lie and cause harm to others do so because they are not able to let go of their attachments. The second noble truth says that dukkha, or suffering, has a cause. Dukkha is caused by craving, clinging, and ignorance. A person who has lost sight of the path often does so because they have grown too attached to some physical thing. If a person is scared to lose something in their life, then they may lie and cause harm to those around them in order to keep things the same. For instance, imagine a child swimming in a pool while the mother watches. The mother says it's time to go, but the child doesn't want to leave because he is having too much fun in the water. So he says, "Just let me do one more lap of the pool." The mother agrees, and so the child does a lap. When he gets back, the mother again reminds him that it is time to go. But the child again says he is going to do one more lap. By this time, the mother is frustrated and is starting to get angry. When they leave the pool, they struggle to talk to each other because the child didn't listen and the mother is now angry. This story is a simple way of viewing how attachment can lead to suffering. The child didn't want to give up on the fun he was having in the pool, so he lied about doing one more lap, which in turn caused harm to the mother. The child wasn't deliberately trying to anger the mother or disregard his own value of honesty. He was just so attached to being in the pool that he forgot the respectful way of dealing with the situation. If it seems like I'm condoning people running amok and doing unhealthy things, I am very much not. I am simply saying that we need to have some compassion for these people, because they are so focused on their attachment that they have forgotten what is really important in life, and this will only lead to more suffering down the track for them. With my current level of knowledge and experience in the world, I have no way of knowing if this is the best or even a good way of dealing with confused people, but it is the way that works for me. I deal with confused people by first of all remembering that they have lost sight of the path and that this will lead to suffering for them further along the line. This is the first step to feeling compassionate towards them. I then, and I know that this sounds cliched, but I look for the best traits in people. If they're funny, then I focus on them being funny. If they are loyal, then I focus on them being loyal. I don't ignore the unhealthy actions that these people take in trying to cling to their attachments, but I don't focus on it either, because it is all too easy to see the one bad thing that they do and label them as a bad person, when in fact they are just a confused person who will have trouble in the future. I keep in mind the unhealthy actions of people so that I can avoid getting caught up in their web of attachment, but I don't focus on it. I choose to see the best in people and to forgive them for their unhealthy actions, because I know that it will lead to more suffering for them later on, and that perhaps they don't know better, or are just too deep in craving to observe the mind and realize their mistakes. If this makes any sense to you at all, please don't hesitate to let me know in the comments section. And if you would like to hear more blabbing from me about my experiences in both life and Buddhism, hit the big red subscribe button. But for now, Sukhi Hotu, may you be well and happy, and may your week ahead be wonderful.